It's joke.
Hello, viewers, and welcome back to Kokomimi's D&D campaign. We welcomed a new player to the table, and although he didn't get much time to play in the last episode, we're ready to go this time around. How about you start us off with the recap, George?
Sure. I didn't get to play much last session, which was a little sad and annoying, but I'm here now. In the last episode, the adventuring party returned to Melodia City and met with the guild master of the Adventurers Guild. They delivered a bow he ordered from Maple Peak and informed them of a standing request that the guild has taken on. Apparently, bodies have been disappearing from the local graveyard. Could be the work of a necromancer or the like. We won't know until we investigate. That's what led the party to meeting Treege, a dwarven artificer working in the guild but without a party.
No worries, Treege is welcome to join the team as long as he recognizes Donna as the true leader of the group. By the way, you also get to ask a comment question at the end of your recap.
I don't know about Donna being the leader or whatever, but my comment question is, what would your ultimate weapon of mass destruction be in this tabletop game?
What is your deal with weapons, Bush? Mass destruction, I thought you fought against terrorists, not strove to become one. Are you planning on wiping the cities of this fictional world off the map?
I will terrorize my enemies and earn the respect of all NPCs.
No way, that's my job. You can join the team as a support for Donna, the beautiful warrior woman, but you can't steal the love and respect of the NPCs. If you try it, we'll have a problem.
I will stop all of this before we start fighting again. We open the session with the party and their newest member, outside of the Adventurers Guild. It is still very early in the day, and the streets of the city are busy with townsfolk going about their business. Having accepted this request to investigate the missing bodies, you make your way to the local graveyard.
So our way there. I want to get to know our new friend. Treege, what brought you to Melodia City? Have you lived here?
I moved here about a year ago in order to help subjugate monsters in the rainforest. Well, it's good money and the cost of living is cheap as the city is building at an amazing rate. Still, I don't plan on staying here forever. I'd like to find a party to join more permanently. Traveling alone is dangerous and sad.
That is so true. Hold on to your friends and cherish them in your travels. I have a feeling we will get along very well.
Right, yeah, enough with the sappy crap. I want to see Bush bring the heat to this team. He will be filling some pretty big shoes.
Repeat that?
I said he should bring the heat to the team.
No, the other thing...
What?
After hearing about how you all lost a party member and the circumstances around that loss, I think I can be just the person to fill the gap in the party.
I am still sad and mad at Donna. He was our friend.
How many times do I have to tell you that he betrayed us and we couldn't trust him?
You can also tell the party about the voice you have been hearing, Donna.
Oh, I almost forgot about that. I don't think I'll mention it yet. I don't know what it is.
Sorry, just had to check something.
Treege, if you don't mind me asking, what sort of artificer are you?
I'm glad you asked. I am an artillerist capable of creating advanced weaponry. Or that's what the stuff online said when I looked it up. I picked the subclass that sounded the coolest.
Right. And if you have any issues with the class, the comments always give us good pointers or suggestions. I've got to work out whether I want to allow you to use firearms.
He gets a gun? What the hell? No fair.
I haven't decided yet. Anyway, let's continue the story. You find the graveyard towards the western wall of town, on the outskirts of the city. Numerous headstones are lined up in the area. There is a building that looks a bit like a church across the road. The building on site appears run down, but the graveyard is otherwise well maintained.
Hey, there's a church here? I thought people around here didn't believe in my goddess. Have they opened their eyes to her light?
As you look at the temple, Benjen, you notice that the building does not have any markings to denote the deity worshipped. It's almost as if the building serves as a general place of worship for anyone visiting Melodia. While Benjen looks at the small church across the road, Donna and Treege, you hear the sound of shoveling dirt.
I'll look around the graveyard. Who's there?
There's no one in the graveyard, but further on the grounds, you see dirt being thrown out of a deep hole in the ground. Do you want to get closer?
What a way to phrase that, Ben. That's the gravekeeper. Stop trying to be so ominous. I'll walk over to say hello. Hello, might you be the gravekeeper of this place?
Inside the hole, you see a sickly, pale, middle-aged man covered in bandages. He wears spectacles and is dressed in plain black and white clothing, now splotched with dirt from his digging.
Bandages, is he okay? We have a cleric with us who can do some healing if he needs it. Or we could call a doctor or something.
At the mention of a cleric, the man's eyes brighten.
Can the cleric exorcise me?
I think too much exercise would put Benjamin in a permanent rest.
Donald, what the hell? Not exercise. No, he said exercise, as in drive away demons or evil spirits. Are you possessed, sir?
Some holy magic might be enough to finally bring about my end. That's all I pray for.
He sits down in the grave and then, inexplicably, lays flat down and places his hands over his chest the way one might arrange a corpse for a funeral.
Go on, give it a shot, I beg you. This time it might work.
Benjamin, get over here. Some sick freak wants to feel your holy magic. Wait, my trident does radiant damage. Is that what he's talking about? Holy magic is radiant damage, right?
His eyes further brighten.
That's perfect. One good poke and I should finally find my end. Go on, give it a good slash.
Well, since you're begging so well...
Wait, Donna, why is this guy begging for us to attack him? Don't you think that's a little strange? We should be more cautious than simply attacking because he wants it.
As you all talk it over, with Benjamin now joining you two, someone exits a side building of the graveyard.
Clouse, if you're laying in the graves instead of digging fresh ones again, then I'm going to be very angry.
Yes, I'm laying in the graves again. Be angry.
An elven woman stares down at him in the hole, disgust and derision on her face.
Sorry, but you'll have to work harder to provoke me. As long as you're of use to me, then I might promise to kill you.
The pale man is strangely excited by this prospect and pulls himself out of the grave with a grin. Now that he's out of the grave, you can see that he is a tall, human male, and that more of his body is covered in bandages, as if they are holding him together. There are patches of stitches on his skin, peeking out from some of the bandages. The man is so pale that he looks bloodless.
Shouldn't have let Astarion have a sip on Bite Night. Rookie mistake.
This guy wanted us to attack him with holy or radiant magic. Is he undead?
The elven woman looks over at Donna and cocks an eyebrow.
Of course he is. Want a demonstration? He doesn't mind.
Maybe one of these days the demonstrations will actually kill me.
Standing beside the pale man, you take in the appearance of the woman. She has purple skin and is quite short with white hair and brilliant pink eyes. There is a sharpness to her features that is especially amplified in her icy gaze.
I do believe that's a drow, a subterranean race of elf that is infamous for violence and cruelty.
That's racist, Treegi. We don't talk like that in front of people like her.
People like, I was just informing you all of her race. Since drow are notorious for being dangerous, I'm sure Ben wouldn't go with the cliche of an evil drow, though.
I thought you were new to this game, George.
I do appreciate mommies as much as the next guy.
You'll fit right in with us.
The woman glares at the party, impatient.
Violence and cruelty. Yes, I suppose we are known for that on the surface.
In a flash, the pale man has a hand lopped off and it falls uselessly to the ground. Your eyes can barely track the source of the cut, but you all finally see a glinting knife in the woman's hand. She sheathes the weapon and picks up the hand, her face expressionless.
He doesn't feel a thing. I'm downright gentle with him. He doesn't bleed, so there's no mess.
She looks over at Clouse and throws his own hand back at him.
Now patch yourself up and be useful. There's work to be done.
Clouse takes out a needle and thread from his pocket and proceeds to sew his hand back on.
So you'll cut off my hand, but you won't cut off my head? It might have worked this time.
I don't feel like getting the arm exercise of chopping your neck like chopping wood. Now get to digging. Head chopping is for after you've made yourself useful. Maybe you'll get lucky and work yourself to death.
She looks over the party with the same icy expression.
So what do you all want? Have someone you need buried? You all look healthy enough to me and no tearfulness either. So it must have been someone you didn't care about.
Actually, we are here on behalf of the Adventurers Guild. The Guildmaster informed us that you have a problem with bodies disappearing, and we're here to help investigate.
Oh, you should have started with that instead of wasting so much time. Come inside and I'll tell you the details. I hope the guild sent us some competent adventurers this time. Some of the others ran away at the sight of me, and others ran away after hearing the details of the problem. If you're going to do the same, go away and don't waste my time.
We are here to help, and that's what we'll do. The Adventurers Guild called upon us because we are the best people for the job.
We'll see if your words ring true or not. Come along, I'll give you the details.
All of you enter the side building of the graveyard, and the woman beckons you to have a seat at a plain wooden table.
Now, where to begin? I suppose I should introduce myself. I'm Lyra Rearithan. Surfacers apparently have difficulty with my name, so you can call me Lyra. The man you met outside is Clouse, my zombie slave.
What a coincidence. I am Donna, the greatest warrior woman in the world, and this is Benjen, my healing slave. And also, this is Treege. I haven't found a use for him yet.
I am not your healing slave.
And who said I have to be of use to you? I'm my own person.
I have little hope if you all bicker like this constantly.
Pay no mind to Donna. She is very rude. Can you tell us more about your problem?
Fine. Clouse and I manage the graveyard here. I prepare bodies for burial, and he buries them. About a month ago, we first noticed that bodies had gone missing from both the morgue and from their graves in the ground.
How did you find out they were disappearing from graves in the ground? Did you just dig someone up to check on them?
When no one wants to pay for a plot of land, we bury groups of bodies together in mass graves. We were digging out space from an old one and noticed that it was completely empty, even though I knew we had buried several people there 6 months ago.
Mass graves. That's too sad.
What else are we supposed to do when adventurers come through and die without giving information about family or friends to contact? Typical surfacers. So soft. Back in my home, we cremate our bodies since space is yet another precious resource. I have entreated some wealthy citizens of Melodia City to donate a bit so I can have a cremator built, but no one cares for the friendless dead.
What about the bodies that disappeared in the morgue? Can you tell us more about that? How did you first discover this happening?
I noticed bodies disappearing from the morgue after those in the graveyard. It has only been 1 or 2, but it's strange since I lock up the place every night. And I don't know why someone would break in to steal bodies, but no valuables.
So nothing else has gone missing? With the bodies, no gold?
Yeah, if it were a thief worth their salt, they would steal the gold too. I mean, even if it's a necromancer or something, they would benefit from stealing gold if they're going to break into the place anyway.
I did find it odd that nothing else was missing. I just assumed the necromancer was a witless idiot.
What makes you say that?
Well, obviously someone is going to notice bodies disappearing from a morgue. If you want to build up a zombie slave army, they ought to be a little more cautious in their approach. But I suppose they aren't entirely witless. They did manage to make the bodies disappear without disturbing the ground above them. I can't riddle out how they did it.
Oh, there was no evidence of them digging up the bodies themselves.
Exactly. There would be grass and dirt moved about from digging.
I wonder if they used some kind of spell, but I don't know what spell would do that. Marek would probably know if he were here, but he's not. I'll have to fill in for him. Step up, okay? Ben, can I roll for any magic I might know relevant to this problem?
You'll have to be more specific.
A spell that might raise buried undead without disturbing the ground.
Give me an Arcana check.
16.
Can I make the same check?
Go ahead.
Unnatural 20.
Wow. Okay, Benjen and Treege, the two of you put your heads together, combing every detail of your magical knowledge and sharing thoughts. There is no sort of magic that will raise buried undead without disturbing the ground.
Darn.
I want to mutter something to the others. Do you think this lady stole the bodies? Maybe she buried empty coffins, or maybe that undead guy outside did something with them.
Lyra flicks her eyes over at Treege.
I heard that.
Sorry.
It's not a bad assumption to make with the facts, but it wasn't me or Clouse. Well, I'm fairly sure it wasn't Clouse. This seems excessive if he's trying to provoke me.
How do you mean provoke you?
Ask him the details yourself. He very desperately wants me to kill him, so sometimes he thinks up little schemes that might make my temper flare.
I see. I think
we should split up for this investigation. One of us should go out and get information from Clouse while we continue these questions, and another of us should go poke around the morgue.
I will stay here with Miss Lyra.
Are you sure she's, a little prickly?
Oh, I don't mind.
Believe me, stop while you're ahead, Treege.
All right, in that case, I think I should be the one to look around because I have a pretty good bonus to investigation.
So that leaves me to talk to the undead gravekeeper. Super.
If you're all going to split up, then who shall we focus on first?
Go with Benjen before he forgets what's happening.
Hey, I've been doing pretty well lately. I've been taking my pills and practicing brain teasers to power up my Benjen brain blast.
Hey, that sounds pretty cool. I want to see that later.
No, you do not, Treege. Anyway, Ben, break us up now.
Right. As the party splits up to conduct the investigation, Benjen, you are left to continue speaking with Lyra.
And I shall do a super job. Okie dokie. So, Miss Lyra, how many bodies do you think have gone missing?
Hard to say unless we start digging up the graves to check. I tried it with one of the earlier adventuring parties, but then they started complaining about how inhumane it was to dig up someone's loved one without permission.
How many have disappeared from the morgue?
Only a couple. It was a pain to have to explain to the families. Thankfully, now that the guild's involved, I can at least direct them over there.
Was there anything the bodies had in common? At least of the ones from the morgue.
She thinks for a moment, tapping the table.
There was something. The ones that disappeared from the morgue had been here a while.
What do you mean?
They had been waiting for someone to come and pick them up or waiting to hear back from family, so I had to store them for long periods of time. After a while, they disappeared. Still, I haven't been able to figure out what criteria this thief has for selecting bodies. I mean, they've stole all sorts of bodies here and there, except for a couple weeks ago, when an entire adventuring party vanished.
Can you tell me about that party? They all disappeared at the same time.
Yes. Ordinarily, only one of the bodies would be missing if it had been stored for a while. On this occasion, though, an entire party was brought in to be prepped for burial after taking on a monster that was too difficult in the rainforest. The guildmaster sent out a search party to find them and brought back the remains. I kept them here for some time, waiting for a response from their next of kin. But before I heard back, they all disappeared in a single night.
Does anyone else have access to this place?
I have the only keys, and my house is a few doors down. There have been no broken windows or busted doors either, though I suppose the thief could use a spell to repair those in order to conceal their thievery. You're welcome to search my house if you don't trust me, though I doubt I would be able to hide the stench of so many zombies from the neighbors.
Can I roll an insight check on Lyra, Ben?
Anything in particular you want to look out for?
I want to see generally if she is trustworthy. I don't think she would have reported this if she were the thief. And I also think she's being very helpful. But maybe that is her design. I don't know.
Go ahead and roll.
Oh, nat 20.
Very nice. Lyra may have a sharp tongue and propensity to lop off her assistant's hands, but her breathing and expressions are even and natural. She's telling you the truth about all of this.
Okay, I believe you, Miss Lyra.
What? You think I would lie about all this? I'd like to know how the thief is doing it more than anyone. If I could perform such magic, I wouldn't waste my time in this city.
I think I am done asking her questions for now, so we can go to one of the others.
Got it. Let's move to Donna, who will be talking to Clouse. Donna, outside of the building, you find Clouse back to digging a grave. His hand is apparently back in working order after sewing and bandaging it back on.
I'm gonna march up to him. You there, Clouse Zombie Boy. I have questions.
Clouse looks over at you and nods, dropping his shovel.
I'll answer as long as you tell Lyra that I quit working. That'll piss her off. Oh, and be sure to mention that I didn't call her Miss Lyra.
Sure, whatever floats your boat. Anyway, I have some questions for you about this whole body snatching business. We are also questioning Lyra, so your answers better match up. If they don't,
Unless if they don't, will you suspect me to be the thief?
maybe so.
What will you do to the thief when you find them?
Kill them. Obviously, stealing bodies is evil, and whoever is doing this is up to no good. We will put a stop to it.
It was me, I did it. I made them all disappear.
Can I roll insight?
Go ahead.
I got a 1. Not a critical failure. I rolled a 2, and my modifier is -1. This is horse shit.
Well, you can't tell if he's serious or not.
Somehow, I don't think he's telling the truth. This guy has some kind of masochistic fantasy, and I did not consent to be a part of it. I will say enough. Just answer my questions, and I'll put in a good word for you with Lyra. And by that, I mean, I will piss her off so she tries to come, behead you or whatever.
Beheading didn't work that time she snuck me into Blackshore.
Huh?
A while back when we were on the road, we made a stop in Blackshore, but the town charged a fee for visitors to enter, so Lyra cut off my head and stuffed it in a bag to get in at half price.
What did she do with the rest of you?
Buried me off in the forest to come back for later.
Dude, that is horrible.
Isn't it, Jisoo? She's perfect.
What?
From the moment I saw her, I knew she was perfect. She would be the one to give me the end I crave.
Okay, pause. Start from the beginning. What is up with you?
200 years ago, I was cursed and became undead. I tried to end my own life myself, but nothing I did worked. So, I started to travel, looking for a cure for this condition so that I could finally die, or else a way to end this undeath. And it led me to Lyra. I saw her in a seedy tavern years ago, and from the moment I saw her, I knew she could do it. She was covered in blood, just having completed an assassination. At her side were 20 different poisons and sheeted blades. She looked at me with such disgust and called me 100 different curses while threatening bodily harm and murder. Finally, after seeing my condition, she decided to grant my wish, as long as I do as she says.
This is the weirdest simp I have ever met. Are you in love with her or what?
Love? No, Miss Lyra is deadly. That is what I love.
I think I get why the other adventuring parties left. These two are weird. Either you're very helpful to Lyra and she grants your wish to kill you, or you piss her off, and she ends you for disobeying. Seems like you're being strung along. I think you like being around her and being mistreated. There's a name for someone like you, and...
Let's stop there. Don't you want to ask Clouse about the disappearing bodies?
Yeah, right. So these bodies, can you show me the mass grave where you noticed them disappearing?
He takes you over to a corner of the graveyard where the ground is pitted. Beside the grave is a large stone plaque that says, "For the unknown or unclaimed dead, rest in peace."
Oh, that's nicer than what I was picturing for a mass grave. All right, then.
Lyra has asked about installing a cremator, since we have limited space for burials, but we haven't been successful in securing funds, so this is what we have to do to deal with the unclaimed.
I see. Tell you what, I'll put in a good word with the Adventurers Guild to get you that cremator. The Guildmaster is an old friend of ours.
That would be perfect. Perhaps Lyra will be happy enough to...
Yeah, I got it. Gross. This is worse than Benjamin sniffing hair. Anyway, why haven't they let you have a cremator in the past? Seems like something the town could fundraise by chipping in together.
There is apparently a cultural significance to burying the dead in Melodia. Lyra's request to start cremation was not well received despite the usefulness.
Huh, so the town insists on burying their dead. That's fine, but what about all the adventurers that come through? They don't care about the city's cultural traditions.
Truth. That's the main reason why the suggestion was rejected.
Out of the corner of your eye, Donna, you note Argithrax approaching the graveyard in the middle of your conversation with Clouse. Evidently, he began looking for the party when you did not come back from the Adventurers Guild.
Finished with shopping already?
I have always prided myself on efficiency, though in the past it was so that I could go back to hibernation.
Well, you're just in time to help us. We got a request to investigate bodies disappearing from the graveyard.
Disappearing? What do you mean?
You fill Argithrax in on your conversation with Lyra while he looks about the graveyard with curiosity. Donna, I would like you to make another check, either insight or perception.
Shit, they're both -1. I hate this rigged game. I rolled a 1. Again, not a critical failure. A 2, then -1. These dice are rigged as hell. What did you do to them, Ben? Is this because I wouldn't help Merrick?
We are using online dice.
Online is even more rigged. I can't believe this.
Well, with that roll, you don't notice anything off about Argothrax's behavior.
But he knows something.
Unfortunately, Donna doesn't know that. Try not to metagame, okay? I know it's tough.
How am I supposed to pretend not to know something that I myself know I know?
I know it's confusing.
Can I at least ask Argothrax if he knows any magic that would raise the dead like this without stirring up the ground?
I will allow that. You pose the question to Argothrax, who pauses. He chooses his words very carefully, as if measuring each one before it passes his lips.
There is no magic that would raise the dead without disturbing the ground. No, there is no magic like that.
I want him to explain more, but I will wait until we all reconvene with our findings.
Sounds like a plan. Was there anything else you wanted to ask Clouse?
The comments will probably yell at me, but I can't think of anything else right now.
Then we'll move to Tredge, who is inside the side building. Lyra passes you a key to the morgue and points to a set of stairs leading to the basement.
All right, I will go down there to investigate the room.
The morgue is a cold room that stinks of strong cleaners. It is completely windowless and dark, but thanks to your dark vision, you are able to look around the room.
First, I want to check for the presence of any magic.
Do you want to roll or use a spell for that?
I have Detect Magic as a ritual spell. I'll use it.
Got it. Tredge, as you focus on the room, you note the presence of magic in the storage units of the morgue. This isn't a trace of any necromancy, however, but evocation magic that helps keep the bodies cold.
That makes sense. Now I want to further investigate the inside of the storage units.
You look over the storage units, but there isn't a trace of any other kind of magic anywhere.
All right. Whole lot of nothing, I guess. Now I want to check the door and stairs for any sign of someone having broken in.
Roll investigation for that.
This 13.
You look fairly closely with a bit of an unpracticed eye, but you aren't able to find any sign of someone having broken in.
Let me go back upstairs then. I want to have a look outside.
Sure. Tredge, you return upstairs and give the key to Lyra before continuing your investigation in the graveyard. Outside, you see that a tall, gray-haired man has come and is speaking with Donna and Clouse.
I'll put that aside for a second and look around. I want to cast Detect Magic again and check for any trace of magic in the graveyard.
You cast the spell and continue your investigation throughout the graveyard. Roll me an Arcana check, if you will.
Finally, we're getting somewhere. That's a 19.
You note the faint presence of some magic underground. Upon further investigation, and thanks to your knowledge of imbuing items with magic, you detect the presence of 1 or 2 spells under several of the graves. These spells are ones typically used to enhance weapons.
Interesting. What else can I tell about this magic?
Nothing much else. Technically, that spell should be blocked through 6 feet of dirt, but I'm bending the rules for you since you rolled so well.
Ah, thank you, Ben. So there's some magic items buried in a couple coffins. Most likely. Since he's out here, can I ask Clouse about that? I'm betting that they sometimes bury adventurers with their sword.
You call out the question to Clouse, who steps over and confirms your suspicions.
Yes, occasionally we get adventurers who want to be buried with their trusted weapons, even if it seems very wasteful to bury such fine things. They could be put to much better use.
Since Tredge is out here with Donna, can we ask Clouse to dig up one of these graves?
We can't do that, Donna. We have to ask for permission to disturb someone's resting place.
Ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Dig up one of the graves where you're sensing the magic from. Do it and I'll kill you.
Don't you mean do it or I'll kill you?
No, I don't.
Clouse goes to fetch his shovel, but before he can set to work, Argothrax steps forward and casts mold earth to excavate the earth.
Normally, I would be against such an action, but I'm very curious to see what we find here, now that I've heard about this problem.
His magic has revealed the coffin buried under the earth, and Clouse jumps into the grave to pry the wood open. The lid snaps open with a crack, and inside you find nothing but an old sword.
Where the heck is the body?
That's strange.
He looks about the graveyard, concerned.
I'm gonna look over at Argothrax. You know something about this, don't you?
Roll persuasion, Donna.
Elvin, these dice are still rigged.
Argothrax lets out a sigh, his eyes clouded over in thought. You hear him mutter.
Could she? Surely not this many.
What is it, Argothrax? Tell us, no more secrets.
Lyra and Benjen, you hear the commotion outside, and Lyra moves to check it out. Outside, Lyra's eyes fall on the empty coffin, and she raises an eyebrow.
Well, not the most tactful approach. I commend you for efficiency.
Do you think other coffins in the graveyard are empty?
Oh, I'm sure of that, but how many is the real question?
We can dig up all of them to look if Argothrax uses mold earth, but I think people would notice if the entire graveyard is covered in fresh soil.
And is the graveyard just dirt? Or are there other plants on the land?
It's got grass growing around.
Benjen Brain Blast.
Here we go again.
I will cast Speak with Plants to talk to the grass.
What are you going to ask the grass?
I want to know if there are still bodies buried in the graveyard, or how many of them have disappeared.
I'll make a determination as the dungeon master that the plants can answer such a question. I am technically bending the rules of your spell, but it's a creative idea, so I've got to hand it to you.
I knew that spell would come in handy.
Benjen, you hear the whisper of the grass, like the call of little children's voices. Nothing down here, nothing here, nothing over there either. It seems that the graveyard is basically empty.
I will translate all of that to everyone.
Empty? What do you mean, empty?
There are no more bodies here, they've all disappeared.
That's...
I don't think this is the work of a simple necromancer or body snatcher. Something else is going on entirely. Let's share what we found. I checked the morgue and graveyard and found no traces of magic beyond what is used to preserve the bodies, as well as the enchantment on that sword. There is no way to enter the morgue besides the main door, and I didn't find any sign of forced entry.
I found that Clouse is a sick freak. However, he did mention that Melodia has a long tradition of burying bodies rather than other methods of putting the dead to rest, whatever that's worth. What did you find, Benjen?
That the ones that disappear have been stored for a long time and vanish one at a time, aside from an adventuring party that vanished all at once. There's no real criteria about which bodies are taken.
Whichever way you spin it, the gravekeeper and mortician look the most suspicious.
Nah, I trust Lyra. I sussed her out and everything.
What does her hair smell like?
Marshmallows.
God Almighty.
With all this information combined, it is painting a very strange picture. I do not think we are dealing with the work of a single person. It's more likely that this is a much more powerful being to be able to do all this without leaving a trace.
Argothrax, you seem to have some information. Care to tell us?
Argothrax grimaces into a pained expression.
I must choose my words very carefully. Please understand, it is likely this is dealing with royal secrets.
Oh, my goddess.
Quiet, Benjen.
With that, we'll close off the episode.
You're getting real good with these cliffhangers and mic drops, Ben. I don't like it.
What can I say? I've got to keep you all coming back for more. To the viewers, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and a comment telling us what you thought about this week's episode, and we'll see you in the next one very soon.